I'm Paul, and I'm from Zamboanga, and I think I'm 23 or 24 years old. I kind of stopped counting. Well, unlike most of the other delegates here, I've actually not been able to publish anything yet, and honestly, I'm still wondering why I'm here right now. But since I'm here, I get a chance to represent the young writers of our region, of my region anyway. Well, so I'm going to share my experiences as a young writer from Zamboanga City. I'm sure you've heard of Zamboanga City. To us, it's just a spice of life. But, well, as a writer, I could actually say that Jose Rizal is, Jose Rizal played a major part in my decision to write fiction seriously. This is actually the first, his Noli and Philly were the first Philippine literature, Philippine books that I've read ever since in my entire life. Before that, I've been reading Western literature. So that's basically like that's basically his influence on me. So let me get to the challenges that I face as a writer in Zamboanga. For one thing, we have very little resources when it comes to literature because we don't have a bookstore. The only bookstore we have there are those that sell nursing books, accounting books, all those academic books. But as for literature is concerned, you're going to have a hard time finding anything. Even Noli and Philly, sad to say, it's hard to find there. So that's one of the major frustrations, is being a writer in Zamboanga. Another thing is that there are actually a lot of famous Zamboangueño writers out there, like Antonio Enriquez and Butch Santos, but they're not based in Zamboanga anymore. So for us, the younger writers, like when we do get to write or when we start writing, and we kind of find out, okay, there's something wrong with our story, but we can't seem to get what's wrong. It seems okay to us, but you know, there's this kind of feeling at the back of your head that it's not perfect, but it's not what you want it to be, and we just don't have anyone to guide us. So, and I've just met Butch Santos now and Antonio Enriquez. I've just met him like 3 times in my life, and I rarely see them in Zamboanga, so that's also one problem. So we really don't have any guidance as far as writers. And because of that, maybe there are other, like some of my peers in writing there, like they just moved on with their own professions. Like they stopped writing, some I don't even know where they are now. And some as well, like look for other opportunities, like just after high school, or they switch courses in college and they go to either Luzon or the Visayas because they would like to pursue literature. They like to find, like a better environment for a writer or for a starting writer. So I would also have to include myself in that category because, it's like being a writer there is just so sad. It's really sad. So, well, and another reason, we don't have any literary publication. So, even if I write, who's only my friends and the people who I'm going to show it to are going to read it. So we don't have any literary publication that's like monthly or bi-monthly anywhere, except of course for the occasional school literary publication, which only happens like once a year in about 2 or 3 schools in the city. So yeah, and then like people just stop writing. I know some guy who's like started writing a book, but he just stopped and pursued his medicine career. So it's kind of sad because like we started writing together, but he lost his interest in it because I think we're just dismayed as a writer there, being writers there. So, and one thing about writing in Zamboanga, well, most of the writers I've encountered in Zamboanga, we mostly write fiction, and there are some poets there, but as far as fiction is concerned, we cannot write in Chavacano because our language is mainly a spoken language, and it's kind of hard to get the correct spelling. It's kind of hard to get the right word to describe something because well, the formal Chavacano is almost like Spanish, and we ourselves don't know the correct words for certain things. So what my generation now, we speak a colloquial version where we assimilate some languages from, some words from Bisaya, from Tausu, some from Yakan, and from Tagalog, and so on and so forth. So that's what we do, basically. So, where was I? I'm sorry, I'm just a little bit tense right now. Oh yes, I was into that. What language we use, yeah. Although the poets, like Mr. Bupacan Santos and some of my other peers there, it's easier for them to kind of describe things in poetry because they have to write, they have less words to do compared to us fiction writers, so we mainly stick in English. And that's about it. But aside from just like the problems we have of being a writer in Zamboanga, most of the people I know I write, we're not really into classics because we don't know the classics, like Faulkner, Austen, Dostoevsky. I only encountered that when I was in a Iligan workshop, and I've never read them yet because I can't find a book. I can't find a book about them. So the only thing I can, like my generation and my kind of writers, we read fantasy and sci-fi, so that's become our roots. So back then when I was going to the workshops, they were telling me about Austen, Faulkner, these guys. But I mean, being a young person, of course, there's just like finding yourself, finding your identity. So as a writer, I think I found mine in my writing identity in fantasy, sci-fi, because my Faulkner and Austen were Tolkien, were Robert Jordan, Orson Scott Card, so on and so forth. So that's about it. But, well, on a happier note, I've met some of my peers. I've met people who have started writing again, and what we plan for this month when we get back is to try to make a smaller convention, as like a small version of this festival there for the smaller writers, just to have an exposure for everyone, and so that we can nudge them in the right path. So that's about it. Thank you.